Your patients are already using AI to address their concerns. And honestly, you should be using it in your practice too. AI can either add to your intelligence or chip away at it by replacing your intelligence. And the difference is in how you use it. AI has thoroughly integrated itself into our lives. Patients are using it to figure out their rash, decipher a symptom, and interpret their labs. And we're going to talk about how to respond to that towards the end of the video. Providers are using it to improve their protocols, ramp up their social media, and optimize business practices. It's an almost free VA or virtual assistant, but you wouldn't hire a VA and ask them to do a job in just 1 or 2 sentences and then accept and use as is whatever work they give you, right? So we shouldn't do that with AI either. We can use it to grow our knowledge and business faster than we ever imagined on a fraction of the budget. But we need to do so responsibly and in a way that maintains our clinical judgment. I'm going to suggest how to do that in just a minute and give you some prompts to use in the description below. But first, I want to share an experience I had earlier this year that made me realize this topic needs to be discussed. I went to a functional medicine conference that focused heavily on using AI in practice. Honestly, by the 3rd day, I skipped the last 2 sessions on AI. It was making me so depressed that I couldn't handle sitting through more of it. The idea of AI being integrated in our lives is exciting to me. However, the speakers were promoting it as a way to make patient educational materials, such as courses, and even make clinical decisions, such as how to treat a symptom, a lab, or a health condition, but presented it as a way to remove thinking from the care process, to have instant answers and effortless appointments so you can save your energy for your personal life. Just plug in their intake forms and labs, and AI will provide a treatment plan for you. Ask for a PCOS diet, and in 10 seconds, you'll have a 15-page document you can give the patient. This removes the value of our experience, seeing what actually works and moves the needle in complex humans living real lives, which is often not the same as what is found in a lab or a 4-week study of 30 college students, which AI is drawing off of for its answers. It also removes human connection, which is arguably just as, if not more important than any actions you ask the patient to take. By spending time in their chart figuring out their case, and time in their appointment, figuring out what they need next and how to modify the plan, we become more invested in that client's success. And they know that. They can see how much we care and believe in the process that we're going to give them even more. And when they believe in it, they're going to be more successful. When we teach, whether in an appointment or a group program or an online course, from our experience, personally or as a practitioner, rather than just from a script, belief and motivation is awakened in the patient. And research shows that what a patient believes is probably the most important factor in their ability to heal. But more objectively, because I'm all about, data, science, things that you can evaluate, AI also leads to incorrect advice. AI can only answer according to your question. The answers will only be as good as the question you ask it. For example, if you ask if a medication is safe or harms the body in any way, it'll pull from large studies and reviews that mention a few short-term mild side effects, but overall say it doesn't harm the body. If you then ask if that medication changes the microbiome or creates any nutrient deficiencies or triggers oxidative stress, you'll often be given dozens of studies showing it does have these effects. If you just went off the generic response, you think this medication is in no way contributing to any of your patient's issues. This could delay the patient's healing because you're not identifying a root cause or a trigger for them. When it does give an effect of a medication or a supplement, the summary provided often doesn't speak to how clinically meaningful the effect size is. Rather, it'll just say if it was statistically significant or not. And honestly, how meaningful an effect size is should be determined by the practitioner and the population they serve. This is not like a defect in AI. So it may cause you to overestimate how beneficial the intervention would be, or even underestimate it because it was a large effect, but the number of participants in the study was too small to be statistically significant. So you need to read the data yourself to determine what it means for your practice. Otherwise, taking advice from AI as is can create unnecessary restrictions and excessive supplementation that overwhelms the patient, causing them to give up before they had a chance to heal. And I saw this on the stage at the conference where they did some case studies giving an example of, you have a patient complaining of these things, their labs showed this, we ask AI to make the plan, and it'd be like 15 supplements because it'd be like, here's what the nutrients is for this issue, here's the nutrient for this issue, based on the research and not based on a comprehensive view of that patient. We must not let AI become the guide, deciding what we stand for, and we just become the delivery channel of the content it feeds us. We have to engage our minds and our hearts, and yes, even our precious energy to create the therapeutic presence and customized care that are foundational principles of functional medicine. So how do we do that while taking advantage of the power that AI offers? I don't have the answer. And the advice that I'm humbly going to provide now could look different in a year. But here's how I've been towing that line that has been effective and advantageous while also allowing me to keep my integrity and critical thinking. Rather than asking it what you should do, such as how much iron should I give a menstruating woman with a ferritin of 18? Or even when is the best time to give iron? Ask it for summaries of the research on specific parameters, so you can decide when is the best time to get it or how much to give. So you might think to ask if iron is best taken with a meal or empty stomach, but that's not specific enough because what defines best? Instead, ask if either one increases ferritin and hemoglobin more, or reduces stomach upset, depending on what you're trying to look for. Then ask, does taking iron in the morning or evening improve ferritin more? Research might show that taking it on an empty stomach in the morning is best for absorption. But if you don't keep asking it specific questions, you might never find out that coffee and milk both significantly lower absorption. So having a client take it in the morning could actually lead to worse results. In addition, we care most about clinical outcomes. If an 8-hour study shows best absorption upon rising, but a 3-month study shows no difference between then and with dinner on biomarkers for iron status, would you still recommend the morning and make your patient have to go through the difficulty of separating that out from their coffee or their other foods that they want to eat? Our goal as practitioners is not to optimize short-term physiology, is to resolve our patient's symptoms, abnormal labs, and health conditions in as quick and easy a manner as possible. AI will give us advice that weighs a 7-person, 4-hour in-lab study equally to a 200-person, 4-month randomized clinical trial. They're both research that provides a result, and they're going to take those results and give you advice on it. So we can't take its general recommendations. Let's use it to source information much faster than we ever could before and synthesize that information for us to make storing notes easier that we can just copy and paste and keep in our own space to reference again in the future, so that we can make better decisions that we made about how we want to practice, not to have it make the decisions for us. In addition, AI can be used to speed up marketing and business processes. For example, for this video, I told AI what it was about and asked it for 5 hooks that I could start this video with. I do the same for the subjects of my email newsletters. By being given multiple options, I can combine aspects that I like of a few of them and quickly come up with what I want to say. I just never take one of the options verbatim. It allows me to not have to start from scratch, so that way it's easier for me to get going and give me ideas so I can make something that I feel is the best. Because it's important to me that my communication is actually me. This is because I prioritize connection, even if it comes at the cost of slightly less attractive copy. Doesn't mean that you need to have the same values in order to be right. And yes, I have trained it on how I speak using videos, podcasts, past scripts, all that. And I'll do the same for video and podcast scripts I create. I'll ask it to create the outline based on the main points I want to make. I then adjust the outline, then ask it to create the script based on that approved outline. And then I modify the script to include my passion, my humor, my own personal experiences, and so forth. I'll also ask it how to address a tax or human resource issue. Then go read the source it cited to double check it. I'll ask it what to consider when I'm trying to make a decision, which I find so helpful. That gives me things I never would have thought about, so I can be so much wiser without having to have made the mistakes, such as hiring a new position or renting a new place. So overall, I think AI is a great VA. It can gather research, it can generate ideas, summarize what online experts say, and even complete some easy tasks in the agent mode. However, I think using what it generates as your final product is a dangerous road to go down. Not only can that chip away at your creativity, knowledge, and your reasoning skills, and impair connection with your patients and your audience, but also can lead you or the patient astray. Looking at it as my assistant rather than as a duplicate me has helped me to do way more in my businesses than I ever have before, while not sacrificing the authenticity or quality of my work. I tell the same to patients who disagree with me or bring up a point that their AI made when they discuss their health issue with it. I tell them that it can't synthesize all of the relevant data, the online information related specifically to you, and clinical experience. It just picks a few and makes a decision based on that. And that they should ask AI to provide peer-reviewed articles for any suggestions or interpretations it gives you. Otherwise, it can just be a lot of regurgitated mumbo jumbo from popular marketing figures on the internet. I then let them know what the research shows that we have, which you'll have too if you join the Functional Practitioner Academy. We have a searchable knowledge base with all the studies and clinical insights that you need to be confident in this AI age. Or if it's information I'm unsure of, that will I'll let them know that we'll make a note to look into it and thank them for sharing so they feel honored rather than disregarded. We don't want them to feel like we're on a separate page with a patient and that they shouldn't be using AI. I will then plug that information they brought to me into my research assistant project that I have in ChatGPT. And in a minute, 1 minute, right? Usually I'll get the information that I need to make a decision on changing our recommendations. But of course, I have to go in and actually look at what it recommended, what all the studies that it brought up, to see if what its summary actually matches what's in the abstract and how I want to interpret that information, how clinically meaningful is it. And if I do make a change based on that information, which it happens weekly, I update the FXP knowledge base so that all of you can benefit from it. It's a great way to constantly evolve as evidence is verified, so we stay up to date and don't undermine trust with the patient because AI is able to give them better advice than we can. I hope this gave you some good ideas to consider and chew on. If you'd like my AI research assistant, I'm happy to give it to you for free. Just click the link in the description. I'll also take 2 minutes to walk you through how to add it to your ChatGPT and how to use it wisely. I really hope you'll join us in the Academy so you can be fully equipped to both provide accurate information and to connect to and motivate your patient, which we talk a lot about. Something that we as humans can uniquely do so you can be successful in this age of AI.